right.
Lana, Pod is worried that with any more fake tan, you may end up looking like a freshly varnished fence.
Looks more like a man than a woman, to be honest.
Early 2000s fashion was weird. Early 2000s shows about fashion, even weirder. If you weren't being ambushed by these two and told what to wear, you'd meet this guy in probably the only good makeover show to ever come out of the UK, helping middle-aged women do a naked photo shoot or catwalk. Looking through all these types of shows, there is none weirder than BBC Three's Snog Marry Avoid, a show that decided the only way to get a ruder critic than these two posh gits was to use a fake robot. Starting in 2008, Snog Marry Avoid centered around the character of Pod, a sassy space robot who would bluntly insult or dismiss the people who were unlucky enough to make it onto the show.
And you look like a drag queen with a hangover. Lana, Pod is worried that with any more fake tan, you may end up looking like a freshly varnished fence. You clearly think you look good. Pod cannot agree. My databank has found a style match.
No.
Technically, Jenny Frost and then later Ellie Taylor were the presenters of the show, but would only narrate the contestants' intro and look in dismay at them weeks after the makeover if they hadn't kept with it. Jenny Frost seems especially funny for the role, given she herself had some bad looks in her pop star days. The template for almost every episode is simple. Bring a youngish girl onto the show. 80% of the time, this woman would either wear too much makeup or fake tan to an insane degree, or dress ridiculously light. Normally, the person brought onto the show would be obnoxious or unaware of the perception of them, and most of the women are made out to be a bit naive.
I would rather give up my home than my fake tan.
More makeup, the better, because, you know, everyone wants to look good.
I do get judged differently. People would automatically think I'm a bit thick, maybe.
The person is then forced to act opposite this robot, which must have been a very bizarre film shoot. The show highlights this ethos of natural beauty as the only way forward. All this makeup is a load of crap, etc. for this character. The critique can be pretty harsh, so apart from being a massive gimmick / selling point, it seems the only reason they used the robot idea was to get away with bashing these women so much, which may have been uncomfortable even then, coming from a random bloke. So, first off, you're a slag. After a humiliation by a robot, the contestant is then informed that a picture of them was shown to a bunch of strangers on the street, and then asked if they wanted to snog, marry, or avoid them. They're sometimes asked other things, like would you take them to dinner, or to dog racing, but these aren't always there. To me, this is such a bizarre idea because it's used as a persuasive tool, suggesting that hey, it's not just this random robot, everyone thinks you're ugly. Some of the contestants I think are generally attractive pre-makeover. Evidently, I don't find all of them attractive, and a majority of the people on the show look ridiculous. That's one of the reasons why the show was successful, the curiosity of what was going to be in the next episode. But the idea of me getting to decide what they wear is wild. It's quite funny seeing these random men turn down these women. Dare I say, they're not all being truthful.
Looks more like a man than a woman, to be honest.
I would avoid her. She looks like a tranny.
Yeah, I think I'd probably marry her. She looks like she could cook really well. Avoid her, obviously 'cause she's like a girl, and you know, you do the maths sort of thing.
Why'd you leave that in? I find it interesting how they went this route and not for a human, empathetic person with good fashion and makeup advice who would actually care about the women who come onto the show rather than just degrading them to get them to change. I think it shows the true nature of the show. After being dissed by the public, the pod offers a makeover. This looks more like a character customization screen in an RPG, with the woman being nudged towards certain hairstyles and dresses, rather than, letting them actually choose something themselves. Every single one seems about the same, and there isn't much satisfaction or magic to them. The fact there's no build-up to the reveal doesn't help either. It really feels like the girls are being tailored to fit into a box, rather than tailored clothing / style to them. Most of the make-unders make them look boring and like a 50s housewife. It's a ridiculously large contrast to before that clearly most of the girls aren't particularly familiar with or comfortable with. It'd be like bringing a heroin addict to a warehouse, calling him dumb, telling him to just drink water from now on, and then expecting him never to do drugs again. Like yeah, it's technically an improvement on wearing tape on your boobs, but barely any of the make-unders fit any of the contestants' personalities. It would have been really fun to spend some time with the person and find out what they would like to try differently. Have them design an outfit. It's normally unclear whether the person even likes the change.
God, it doesn't even look like me. Wow.
After the make-under, the girls are then judged by the public again. They mostly agree that they would now bang. It's bizarre how it's pushing the idea of dressing/looking just to appease a majority of strangers, rather than what you enjoy/feel happy in. The girls are generally surprised by their new looks, and we normally get some reactions from family members or boyfriends, etc. A lot of the girls are shown to have boyfriends who are normally seen frowning or complaining about their significant other's look or style, which begs the question why they couldn't just have a chat at home and not have to recreate 2001: A Space Odyssey.
This conversation can serve no purpose anymore.
How rude.
This suggests that the only reason some of the girls come onto the show is to appease their boyfriends or others, which is hardly a great message to send. In general, most of the people on the show seem to be suffering with low self-esteem or addicted to attention, with many of the girls admitting they only dress in a slutty way for this reason.
Are you naturally beautiful?
No.
In a retrospective article on the show in 2021, a producer of the show suggests that their intention was to help girls. So why then, when you have a group of similar-minded girls who either aren't confident or are struggling to see why, after dressing like this, they're not getting respect from guys or are attracting the wrong type of attention, do you have to bully them on TV instead of just saying, yeah, maybe just put on some more clothes? The standard episode will have 3 of these contestants, with some time devoted to seeing if the girls stuck to their new looks. Unsurprisingly, most of them didn't. A lot of them looked better weeks later than after the make-under, to be honest, like a decent mix of personality and more modesty and respect to what they had at the beginning of the show. If they had changed their look in the slightest, our presenter will prod at them to find out why and suggest that they fucked up in not doing exactly what the emotionless robot told them.
Quite a few things now.
What's changed? Because you still got the couple of extensions in there.
A couple of extensions.
Like, why are you attacking someone for wearing hair extensions? They want to wear them, who cares? Judging by the fact a lot of the women went back to their old ways, suggests there was no help or services offered after recording, and they just moved on to the next woman. I've mostly focused on the female contestants on the show, but normally there is one male contestant every episode. Everyone I've seen has been a punk or goth influenced guy with piercings, mods, or an odd haircut. Rather than give these guys a makeover, the pod usually congratulates the guy on their individuality. These guys come on sporting 80s hairdos and makeup, but get a pass because they're in a band. But they could look like Frank Sinatra and still be in a band. Obviously they're saying that their look helps sell their music, but I think if they made quality stuff, it would clearly sell itself.
Oh, it's time to get low. Oh.
To me, these sections are a complete double standard, in my opinion. Occasionally, it does offer them a make-under, but completely half-asses it. It just gives this guy a suit. Like, yeah, how long do you think he's gonna wear that? It feels as though they made a show criticising women, and then at the last moment decided to put some guys in there to not appear sexist.
Like a banker.
You're one letter out, but yeah.
In one episode, the pod goes after this woman because he has some shit tattoos. Like, how many people on earth have a shit tattoo? Who cares? Splitting the pod sections up are small parts called beauty bites, where presenter Jenny Frost will offer a new makeup solution or look at some stranger's advice, varying in quality.
If you're doing your eyeliner on the bus, wait till it's a red light because otherwise it will go all over your face.
Overall, Snog Marry Avoid feels less like an attack on stupid fashion trends, although it certainly succeeds in highlighting them, and more an attack on individuality, taking eccentric looks, some good, some bad, and turning them completely bland. It fitted into its home on late night TV perfectly, drunk kebab TV, where the craziness of the contestants and the humour was the best it had going for it. Put it on at 3 PM and you get a different story. Like a lot of 2000 shows, it succeeds perfectly in making you feel better about yourself. At least I don't look like that. At least I'm not that stupid. The show managed to last 6 seasons, retiring itself in 2013 before it could be cancelled. Jenny Frost eventually rejoined Atomic Kin. Ellie Taylor went on to be a decent comedian, and the pod unit, we're not quite sure, but many have speculated it now leads its own sitcom.
Pod reputes that you are a child-scaring mouse bother.
See you on the next one.